yes, it's got Bitcoin exposure, but it's also a technology business with free cash flow, whereas Bitcoin is a commodity, no counterparty risk that you can also own via custody or cold storage from
Yeah.
Fidelity.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Finance. In this video, Greg Foss discusses about Bitcoin. Greg Foss says, my target price for Bitcoin in today's dollars is $2 million US dollars per coin. Some may say, Foss, you're crazy, but I assure you that I've done the math and will show you how I arrived at that figure. If you still don't believe me, check out Fidelity's research, which shows that their target price for Bitcoin is $10 million USD per coin in 2030. They arrived at this figure by adopting technologies like cell phones and the internet for comparison. But they don't stop there. Do you know what their price target for Bitcoin is in 2040? It was over $1 billion perfect coin. Alright, let's get started. We'll go through 2 million before reaching 10 million, and then we'll find out how much 10 million actually is. My example is in today's dollars, and lots of things Greg Foss discuss. So please watch the video to end and share. Subscribe our channel Everyday Finance, thanks.
But Fidelity is out there with good, very solid Bitcoin research that I always say, okay, look, I think I've said on your show, my Bitcoin target price in today's dollars is 2 million US dollars per Bitcoin. Okay. And people will be like, Foss, you're crazy. And I go, no, I've run the math. I'll show you how I get to that number. And then I say, okay, well, if you don't believe me, how about you look at Fidelity's research? Their target price for Bitcoin, granted it's in the year 2030, is 10 million bucks per Bitcoin. All right. Well, look. How they got there is based on adoption of technologies like cell phones and internet comparison. Now, it doesn't stop there. Do you know what their price target in 2040 for Bitcoin is?
What was it?
Over $1 billion per Bitcoin.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
well,
so look,
go.
let's start. We'll go through 2 million before we get to 10 million, and then we'll see what 10 million is. Again, mine is in today's dollars, but don't overthink the fact that MicroStrategy, yes, it's got Bitcoin exposure, but it's also a technology business with free cash flow, whereas Bitcoin is a commodity, no counterparty risk that you can also own via custody or cold storage from Fidelity. Yeah. So I really like what Fidelity's doing. Yuri and Timmer over there at Fidelity, I really like his research. Just at least consider this stuff. And if you had to ask me to pick between Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett and Fidelity, I'm afraid I'm going with Fidelity, okay? Fidelity, that's just the way it is.
It's wise risk management to start removing your Bitcoin from their exchange as soon as you can, since many people wonder if they actually own the cryptocurrency or if they sold it to you in paper. As you may have noticed, this weekend they stopped accepting withdrawals, blaming it on network issues. Sunday night, that was just such a fake out. What they haven't done well, though, is consolidate their transactions into what is known as UXO management. I don't want to get too specific because I'm not an expert in that area, but I listen to the smart guys who are. There's a lot of information to understand about the Bitcoin blockchain and the differences between small and large transactions. And it worries me that Binance is the major player globally in that cryptocurrency exchange.
Concerns over Binance for a number of reasons, including the fact that many people question whether they actually hold the Bitcoin or if they've sold you paper Bitcoin. So that's good risk management that you start taking your Bitcoin off of their exchange when you can. This weekend they halted withdrawals because they blamed it on network congestion.
Yes, Sunday evening.
That is just such a fake out. Okay. What they haven't done well is what's called UTXO management, which is consolidating their transactions. I don't want to get too granular, and I can't say I'm an expert on that side, but I listen to the guys that are smart about this. There's just a lot of stuff to understand about the Bitcoin blockchain and small transactions versus large transactions. That concerns me that Binance is the global player in a crypto exchange. And I say crypto, Even though I'm only Bitcoin, I only focus on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is traded on Binance. And yeah, it's good that people are withdrawing it. I think that's very smart.
Yeah.
What
Last
I'm concerned with, oh, go ahead.
No,
well,
no,
I'm just saying what I'm concerned with, if they don't have the actual Bitcoin, the people that are selling early, there's an old adage: he who panics first panics best. Okay, Bingo. And the people that are now selling could be the ones that are smart, or not selling, but withdrawing. It would be unfortunate, despite the fact that, again, I'm not a huge cryptocurrency platform. Technology is technology. It brings jobs to America. It brings innovation to America. And if you get them offshoring that innovation, that ultimately decreases your competitiveness and your competitive advantage. I will only say this, okay? As a Canadian, and I always say also, living in the attic of the United States rent-free, okay? Because most of you guys can't even find Canada on a map. So I'm lucky. I'm your grumpy uncle. I'm your grumpy Uncle Greg living in your attic rent-free. I need you guys to survive, okay? Because Canada is just a rounding error. We're not even as important as the state of California in terms of global GDP, even though we are a G7 nation. I need the USA to survive. Why? Because you're the bastion of freedom that will defend freedom globally, including for Canada, okay? And if you start losing your most important technology companies and your advantage of free markets, free and open markets, damn, that's going to be upsetting, because I love the United States, okay? I've been to school there. I have plenty of friends. I've worked in New York. I will only say this. Please, America, open your eyes and understand that Bitcoin is actually your friend, because the system that you are relying on is now broken and you need to fix it. And Bitcoin is the solution. I actually do. I don't put a whole lot of faith in those expectations. They're quite thin markets. They're very fickle. But just based on economic indicators and the like, and the high likelihood that we will see some sort of credit contagion, I believe that at least one rate cut by December. So I'm hedging my bets quite a bit. But a lot of people say no rate cuts all year. I'm on the other side of that. I think there'll be a nominal rate cut and QE infinity. That's the more important thing, is that they open up the printing press again. Well, let's be clear. So there's lots of ways of the terminology, but all fiats debase, Paul. That is just the math, and they are relative. So they're all debasing. Just the rate of decay is different between certain nations, depending on things like obviously interest rates and trade deficits. But they're all debasing. So we know that for sure. Some are debasing faster than others to enhance their competitiveness in a global market. It's called beggar thy neighbor. If you debase your currency more quickly, the currency makes your exports more attractive. And as you know, GDP is measured as follows. GDP equals consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. So that net exports fourth term is quite it could be it's a term that they can play with a debasement of the currency, makes their exports more attractive. That being said, a CBDC is nothing more than a digital fiat. Yeah. So if you're doing it with analog fiat, you're going to do it with digital fiat. Yeah. Now, the digital fiat comes with an added bonus of surveillance and monitoring. And, Mr. Foss, you spent your money on a parade, at a restaurant on a parade route that we don't agree with. So you were obviously attending that parade. We're going to censor your CBDC. Or let's take it to another extreme. Mr. Foss, you're a fat man. You're a fatso. We are going to limit your caloric intake because we've seen that you're shopping too much at a restaurant. All of these things are possible. Let's not go there. The reality is, though, whether it's an analog fiat or a digital fiat, they're all going down. I mean, let's not overthink things.